I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terence Crawford.
Floyd Mayweather trains with Terence Crawford ahead of Canelo fight, a legacy moment and a powerful display of mentorship and mutual respect. Floyd Mayweather recently visited and trained with Terence, but
did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boy, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his.
Trained with Terence, but Crawford, as the undefeated star, prepares for his most ambitious challenge yet, a super fight against Canelo Alvarez. Mayweather didn't just show up to observe. He got hands-on, offering tactical insight, motivation, and high praise, even declaring Crawford the current pound-for-pound best in boxing. Training with intent, their sessions weren't just some...
Right now, in your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
We can put Tank up there in the top 10 in pound for pound. He has to be somewhere in pound for pound. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terence Crawford as number one.
Training with intent, their sessions weren't just symbolic. They were intense. Floyd's attention to detail was matched by Crawford's hunger to absorb wisdom. According to Crawford, the conversations went beyond flattery. Floyd kept it real, Crawford shared. He told me what I'm up against, but he also said I've got what it takes. Mayweather, who famously defeated Canelo in 2013, reminded Crawford to rely on what's made him great: discipline, adaptability, and ring IQ.
That's a big boy. He's strong. You know, you box good. You can do this. You got this over him. You're going to have to tight up this. You're going to have to do this. You know, it's a conversation. It's not just, oh, man, you'll whoop his ass. You'll do this to him. It's never like
yes,
that.
man type
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, listen, you know, that's a dangerous fight, you know, but
that's the fight.
If it happened, you know.
Rely on what's made him great: discipline, adaptability, and ring IQ. While acknowledging Canelo's size and experience, Floyd made it clear smart preparation, not fear, should guide the fight to passing the torch. Footage and photos of the two together quickly sparked waves across social media. Fans, analysts, and fighters alike commented on what many viewed as a symbolic moment: a veteran champion aligning with a current generational great. Was it a passing of the torch? An endorsement?
Floyd.
Congratulations, man.
Aligning with a current generational great. Was it a passing of the torch? An endorsement? Perhaps both. Mayweather's comments on Canelo's history. Mayweather didn't hold back when discussing Canelo's past doping controversy. We don't talk about that enough, Floyd said, calling out what he believes is a media double standard. Steroids, steroids, steroids. We don't know how many of those wins were clean. He reflected on his own fight against Canelo, noting the weight disadvantage he overcame.
But what we don't talk about is, you know, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
Wins were clean. He reflected on his own fight against Canelo, noting the weight disadvantage he overcame. I weighed in around 151 or 152. He came in after rehydration at close to 170. I still beat him with skill. Crawford's focus and mindset. Crawford is fully locked in. His training camp reflect a blend of old-school grit and modern precision. Videos of him training show everything from explosive leg work to slick sparring sessions.
Canelo made the weight, it wasn't like it was a certain clause to where he couldn't gain weight. So after he weighed 152 or 152 and a half, I think he came in like 168 or close to 170. And actually I came in at probably like I probably came in at 151 and 152.
Gotcha.
But Roy Jones is one hell of a fighter. You know, I can't get on here and hate on his skills and knock his skills. He's been through a lot in the sport of boxing, and he's done a lot for the sport of boxing.
Leg work to slick sparring sessions, each drill tailored to prepare for Canelo's power and style. Notably, his sparring partners mimic Canelo's aggressive stance. Crawford controls pace with his jab, switches stances fluidly, and shows why he's a master of ring generalship. As he put, "Every time they say I'm too small, I just smile. That fuels me." Analysts weigh in. Can Crawford overcome the size gap? Promoter Eddie Hearn shared how a
But I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boy, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. I always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fight.
Yeah.
I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll be this.
But you capping, bro. I never thought like
I
fantasy
promise.
fight me versus Floyd. Nah.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll beat his ass. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never been that type of person ever.
Hearn shared how a casual visit turned into a masterclass. Watching Floyd and Crawford together, he said, "You could feel the energy, intense but light, insightful, special." However, Hearn expressed concern. Can Crawford really bridge the weight gap? He started at 135 and is now facing a seasoned super middleweight. That's a huge leap. Still, he added, "If anyone can do it, it's Crawford. He's that smart." Teddy Atlas echoed the sentiment. Teddy Atlas echoed the sentiment. Crawford isn't just skilled, he's genius. But this challenge is about whether he can maintain his speed, his rhythm, and stay away from Canelo's heavy shots. Is Canelo slipping? Canelo's most recent performance against William Skull did little to quiet doubters. A slow-paced, low-output fight left fans questioning his sharpness. Analysts noted Canelo Analysts noted Canelo's slowing footwork, reduced output, and fading finishing ability. He hasn't scored a stoppage win since 2021. Even veteran commentator Jim Lampley noted that one of Canelo's core strengths, his legs, now appears diminished. He's still great, one analyst said, but there's wear and tear. He's been in world-level fights for nearly 15 years. That catches up. Crawford's team responds Crawford's coach, Brian Bomack McIntyre.
Watch the right hand for the decoy.
Y'all know chess? Fisher versus Spassky? Two of the best, you understand? That's what you watching. Two of the best. That's how Star work. You know how to work. You know how to get the most out of everything. Good job, Chad.
Brian Bomack McIntyre dismissed critics who questioned Bud's resume. People forget how dominant he's been against Brook, Gamboa, Porter. He doesn't ask for advantages. He fights on even terms. Meanwhile, team member Steve Nelson called suggestions that Crawford should face someone like David Benavidez illogical. "We're chasing legacy in smart fights," he said, "not just brute challenges." Is an advanced cherry pick?
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
You know.
Pick. Some fans call the Canelo matchup an advanced cherry pick, suggesting Crawford's team sees signs of slippage in Canelo and believes the timing is right. But others push back, pointing out that jumping from 147 to 168 without acclimation is the opposite of cherry picking. Veteran fighter Nonito Donaire added credibility to pro-Crawford camp, saying, if Bud uses his footwork and ring smarts, he can frustrate Canelo.
That's a fight because of the challenge. Yeah. I love the challenges. And I love the people that I hear them now. You too little. You know, Canelo gonna break you. He's gonna stop you. You come from 147, that weight too big, this and that. I can hear now. And that just excites me to go in there and just be like, okay, let me prove him wrong once again.
That fight would be gigantic. If Canelo gets through Jermell and then you guys fight, that fight would be gigantic.
And it's crazy because, like, in the past interviews, I was like, man, Canelo too big, man. It's weight classes for a reason. I was like, nah. But in my mind, in my heart, I don't think nobody too big.
Canelo and win a decision, as long as he doesn't get caught. Legacy on the line, this isn't just a fight. It's a legacy-defining event, Mayweather himself noted. When I beat Canelo, he was younger, less experienced, and still dangerous. Crawford's fighting a version with more wear, but also more tricks. Both fighters are aging. Canelo will turn 35 in July. Crawford 38 by fight night.
Terence Crawford jumping up from 154 to 168 and beating this quote-unquote version of Canelo Alvarez would diminish the accomplishment that Floyd Mayweather accomplished beating his version of Canelo Alvarez. Is it two different versions of Canelo Alvarez? And obviously, Canelo Alvarez is 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is obviously bigger. When Floyd fought him, it was at 152 catch weight, but it had no rehydration clause. So you might as well just say it was at 154. Now, two things they have in common is that Floyd Mayweather was 36, 37 years of age. Terence Crawford is 36, 37 years of age, going on 38. So he'll be 38 when he fights Canelo Alvarez. Floyd had already had 2 fights at 154. He had the fight with Miguel Cotto, and he had the fight with Oscar De La Hoya.
Fight night. But Crawford's approach isn't about size. I love challenges, he said. I hear the noise. You're too small. He'll stop you. Let me prove you wrong. Again. Final thought as the super fight looms. The story isn't just about belts or records. It's about what happens when a strategic genius moves up to defy expectations. Armed not with brute force, but with brilliance, belief, and a mentor who knows the blueprint.
Come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." You know, but who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight.
Floyd Mayweather, what's happening? Terence, but Crawford is preparing for the biggest challenge of his career, a fight against Canelo Alvarez, a much bigger and more experienced fighter. This matchup is huge because Crawford has mostly fought in lower weight divisions, 135 to 147 pounds, while Canelo has been fighting at 168 pounds and above with knockout power and years of top-level experience. Mayweather enters the scene, Floyd. Mayweather, the undefeated boxing legend.
Guys are tired of me saying it. I look at him. Look, Canelo's special too. I get it. And he's bigger. I get that too. And everyone's going to say, well, after Madrimov fight again, had a couple hiccups. Now he's stepping up another weight class. Now he's got to fight Canelo, who's even bigger, stronger, better puncher, a unified champion that he's been, all of that stuff. He's not going to be able to handle it. I asked this question. See, I go to the other side. I say, okay, yeah, can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, who's going to be slicker, who's going to be better defensively, who's going to have better legs, who's going to be able sometimes Canelo at this point in his career can slow down a little bit. They're both getting older. I get it.
Floyd, Mayweather, the undefeated boxing legend, recently visited Crawford's training camp. But he didn't just show up to smile and shake hands. He trained with Crawford, offered advice, and even sparred with him a bit. Floyd called Crawford the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world and said he believes Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo. Why does this matter? Mayweather beat Canelo back in 2013 when Canelo was younger and stronger physically. That Floyd's support is a huge endorsement.
Unpack what just went on. Steve Nelson just said, and I'm paraphrasing because you guys heard it, link will be in the description. He just told you out his own mouth, he's like, fans are saying that Crawford should fight David Benavidez or a true 168-pounder. Doesn't make sense. Bud is after legacy, and then he said, and money. So this proves why I don't want to see this particular fight like some of y'all. He just told you. So this is what I call an advanced cherry pick. Now, I know some people, you're going to start crying. The reason I say advanced, now, it's not an advance. It's not a cherry pick in the normal sense of like, because this would be an accomplishment if Bud can defeat somebody at a higher weight class without acclimating, right? So it's not the traditional cherry pick, but it is still an advance, or this is what I'm calling it, an advanced cherry pick, because his own teammate and friend, Steve Nelson, is telling you there's no reason for Bud to fight a true 168-pounder. He started off by saying Canelo Alvarez started off smaller, like a welterweight earlier in his career at 54, and then made his way up to 68. So that lets me know the mentality from Team Crawford is Canelo, we know he has shown signs of slippage and being a little bit older in his recent fights. Can't put away Munguia, and some other guy did, Surase.
Stronger physically. That Floyd support is a huge endorsement, especially when he rarely praises other fighters to this level. Advice from a legend, Floyd gave Crawford more than just compliments. He gave real technical advice. Stay sharp and smart. Stick to your style and avoid getting into a slugfest with Canelo. Use your footwork, defense, and timing. Mayweather also told Crawford that Canelo is dangerous, especially with his size and power.
Spaceman Films. What up, Biz? Who you got? Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, got Canelo. I heard the punches that he hit Charlo with. I don't know if Crawford can absorb those punches. I know he's a great man and a great warrior. When you come from 147 to put on a better fight than Charlo, I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody could do better than Charlo did last night.
Do skill really pay the bill? Because that would be tested.
Skill pays the bill. That's why Canelo's skillful too.
The size and power, but that with the right game plan, Crawford can win. Criticism of Canelo Mayweather didn't stop there. He called out Canelo's past doping allegations, saying the media doesn't talk enough about it, and that there might be a double standard when it comes to how fighters like Canelo are treated compared to others. This stirred a lot of debate in the boxing community about fairness, drug testing, and favoritism. Crawford's preparation. Crawford is training harder and smarter than ever his camp includes.
Canelo's a stronger guy, the bigger guy, but in the fight with a guy that moves around, and if Crawford uses his skills and his legs and his technique and just his ability, I think he can win. He can win the fight in decision, as long as he doesn't get hit with those big shots from Canelo.
Camp includes intense leg workouts to stay fast and mobile in the ring, sparring partners who fight like Canelo helping him prepare for real fight conditions, tactical focus, not just working hard. He's training specifically for Canelo's style. He's also very motivated by people saying he's too small for Canelo. Instead of being discouraged, it drives him to prove people wrong size difference. A major topic many boxing experts are
after really the Triple G fight is when we've seen the slippage on Canelo. And over the last 2 years, it's been immediately apparent. It's been apparent straight away over the last 2 years. Canelo's feet have always been slow. He's always been very slow-footed. So when people are saying, oh, it looks like his legs are slowing down, yeah, they are. They've never been quick, but now they're even slower, which is a problem. And Jim Lampley on commentary on Friday night show was saying that one of Canelo's biggest strengths is his legs. It generates power and it helps with his punch resistance. Well, those legs are sliding and that power is diminishing. Canelo hasn't had a stoppage win now since he knocked out Plant in 2021. And yeah, he's dropped some of these guys, but he's not been able to step on the gas and finish them. He's not been able to go through the gears. His gas tank, you can put that into question as well. And Canelo Alvarez, come July, be 35 years old. So he is, look, Canelo's been around so long and his real prime was in his mid-20s. So we associate Canelo, mid-20s to early 30s. So we kind of associate Canelo with that. I don't want to say ever young, but you know, he is still young, just not in boxing senses. But he's been around so long, 20 years a pro, and he's been at world levels for probably 15 of those. You're going to expect some slippage. And I think in this fight, an opponent, it was very negative, yes.
Concerned about the weight jump. Crawford has never fought at 168 pounds, while Canelo has been there for years. That's a 21-pound difference from Crawford's last weight class, 147 pounds. And it's a big deal in boxing. Some say Crawford will be outsized. This fight is too risky. Others argue Crawford's skill, speed, and IQ can overcome size. Canelo is slowing down with age. Strategy versus power. The key question for this fight is, can Crawford's skill and movement beat Canelo's size and power? Analysts like Teddy Atlas and Nanito